Hello, my love, and welcome to the Energy Expansion Podcast. I am your host, Dani Kenney, and it is such an honor. It is so much fun. I'm so grateful to get to be here with you. I'm pinching myself. I can't believe that this is episode 81. I am beside myself, and this podcast, the Energy Expansion Podcast, has been a really big part of my life and my business for over a year now, and we wouldn't have a podcast without you. So if you're new, thank you so much for being here. You are officially a part of our DKC Soul Fam, our Energy Expansion Pod Squad. And if you are one of our longtime loyal listeners, you know who you are. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And I don't know if you can tell, if you can hear it in my voice, but I am in an extra fun and giddy mood. So we're going to set aside the podcast episode for just a second, like what we're actually going to dive into. And I have to tell you, it's sort of funny. And one of the reasons why I was not sure if I was going to create a podcast of my own is because I don't really listen to podcasts. And because of that, I thought if I create one, is anyone going to listen to it? Like if I don't listen to them? And the truth of the matter is, I love speaking, I love creating and also receiving long form content. And honestly, there were dozens and dozens of people who were asking me like, hey, when are you going to do this? If you do it, I'll listen. And so it works out really well. But one of my favorite podcasters is Theo Von. If you don't know him, he's a comedian. He's very lighthearted. There's something so playful about his energy, so real and down to earth, that I feel really inspired. I feel there's like a joy that gets activated in me when I listen. I don't listen to every single one of his podcast episodes, but if he has a solo episode or he has a guest that I'm interested in, I'll click on it. And one of his newer episodes is with a country singer named Ella Langley, who we love as a family. My 10-and-a-half-year-old is obsessed with Ella Langley, and she's very, very talented. And I was just listening to Theo and Ella together. I love them both so much. Truth be told, I have a little crush on Theo Von. He's so goofy and he's so funny. And there's something that's really magnetic and attractive about that. And I'm realizing I also have a girl crush. Ladies, you know, I need to know, who's your girl crush? I've had a couple girl crushes over the years. Dua Lipa, who's another singer. It's always a singer for me. She's top of my list. And Ella Langley is right there, especially after listening to almost this entire episode. And so I'm coming here with this really fun, giddy energy. Thank you, Theo Von and Ella Langley. And also what I learned was she has a brand new album out. I knew there was one coming out. I didn't know it was out already. And my older daughter and I, we were flipping through the song list, and we haven't had a chance to listen to all of them by far, but there was one called Butterfly Season, and I needed to click on it immediately. I don't know if you know, I have a very special relationship to butterflies. I have a butterfly tattoo, and I may or may not have been crying on my way home from school pickup because of how beautiful this song is. So definitely, if you're into country music, honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of music you like, that song is so good. So go listen to Butterfly Season. If you're wanting something fun, lighthearted, a little cheeky, maybe check out that podcast episode. But without further ado, let's dive into our episode today. So something that you've probably noticed over the last few weeks, we drop a new episode every single week. Right now, our new episode drops happen on Wednesday. Not every single episode, but a lot of them have been repurposed. And here's why. I feel like I'm in a season of business where I am a content creation machine, and I'm so here for it. I'm inspired, I'm excited, I'm motivated. It feels like the more I share, the more I teach, the more I'm speaking, the more God is giving me to share. And so that being said, there are certain conversations that I have been really, really passionate about, and I want to make sure that they reach as many people as possible. I got an email it was a reply email. I sent a really beautiful, heartfelt email to my entire email list. We're talking thousands of people, and I had a reply from an email that went out this morning, and it's a dear friend of mine. I've known her for a really long time. She said, "Hey, Dani, is there any other way way I can be in the loop of what you've got going on, because this sounds amazing, but I feel like I don't see all of your stuff and I want to make sure that it's on my radar. And one made me feel a little ping of sadness because I know that she represents one of so many people in my world and maybe in your world and the world of teachers and healers and mentors and coaches and guides who I love learning from, who I don't always see their stuff. It's just the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to the world of all things online. And so it made me a little sad where I'm like, somebody who wants to be getting all of the DKC things is not getting them. But the fact that she took the time to share that with me means that it's important that I'm finding creative, innovative, intentional ways to reshare and repurpose content that I deem impactful and important and I know will make a difference for you. And so that's what we've been doing recently, from the daily lives that I've been creating, from conversations that I've been having with women inside of Energy Expansion Academy. And today's episode is really extra special. What you're going to hear me share is a speaking engagement that I had the opportunity to do. I was collaborating with a dear friend of mine. Her name is Paula, and Paula was hosting a beautiful, totally free 5-day virtual event called Belonging. And every single day of the event, there were different themes, and we were asked to choose which theme we wanted to speak to. And all of the themes were amazing, but when I saw that day 3 of the event was called Your Voice Matters, a day dedicated to reclaiming your authentic expression, I was like, hi, can you please sign me up for that? What I didn't know was that 8 out of the 10 speakers also requested day 3. Your voice matters. And so I feel so blessed that Paula knew that I could fill that role and speak to that really powerfully. And so that's what I'm going to share with you. A few things that I want you to know we're going to dive into is the event is literally called Belonging. So I share what that journey has looked like for me and the fact that for most of my life, for over 2 decades, I really truly did not feel like I belonged anywhere. I share different examples of the ways that I spent most of my life filtering myself, watering down myself and my message, shrinking, second guessing, not saying the thing. And I bring you into how you can powerfully activate your authentic expression, your voice. And I do it through the initial talk, but we were also asked to create a guided experience. And so when I say that there's something for you where you're going to leave this episode quite literally feeling an activation, because that was the intention behind this. And so this episode is for you if you've ever felt like you didn't quite fit in. If you've ever struggled to find, use, or trust your voice, if you've been craving deeper, more authentic connection to yourself, to other people in your world, to spirit, or if you're really, truly just ready to remember who you are and to reclaim that in a really big, powerful way. That's what this conversation is about. I'm very excited to share this with you. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts and what this stirred up for you. So grab your favorite beverage, pull up a seat, and you're going to want to grab a notebook. There's some writer downers in here. And let's dive into this conversation about belonging and activating the power of your voice.
I am so excited to introduce these women to you. Dani Kenney, who has been, I'm not gonna cry. This woman in 2024 changed my life for the better in so many ways. Talk about one of the most amazing business coaches out there. Not even kidding. Ladies, if any of you are going into business for yourself and you don't know Dani Kenney, find her and inquire, because this woman is amazing. Just saying that. Huge shout out to her and how much I love her. Yeah, you need, as Ray says, you need to know her. It's a true story. It's a true story. And several women on this call know exactly what I'm talking about. So Dani Kenney is an international coach, speaker, host of the Energy Expansion podcast. Oh, everybody needs to listen to that. And mama of three. She helps women master their energy and mindset so they can 10 times their income, make a bigger impact, and create a life they are obsessed with. With over a decade of high-level leadership and coaching experience, Dani has supported hundreds of women in breaking through limiting beliefs and unleashing their confidence. As a certified coach and practitioner of NLP, EFT, and hypnotherapy, she equips women with the tools to overcome any obstacle and truly thrive, because when women thrive, the world thrives. And that is probably the truest statement, right? The truest statement. So I am going to pin you and ask you to unmute, my love. And I love how she shows up in her brand colors today.
Always on brand, baby.
When I asked you to be a part of this with me, why did you say yes to me?
Oh my goodness, Paula. It was one of the easiest, fastest yeses of all time. And it really has to do with you and your work and my really strong desire to see you win, not just because I love you and adore you and think very highly of you, but because of how incredibly powerful and needed your work is. And I know that every single woman here live, hello to everybody, feels a little bit like a family reunion right now. And for those of you who I haven't met, it'll feel like that by the time we're done today. But also, everybody watching the replay has had the opportunity to experience what an incredible leader, speaker, teacher, healer, guide you are. And I think the work that you do is really, truly at its core, always important. But I think that we are living in really unique times where this work is actually like desperately needed. And so knowing that I can play even the tiniest role in sharing this event and sharing you and your magic with my pocket of the world, my pocket of the internet, just felt like the fullest body yes that I had felt in a really long time. So thank you for asking me and giving me the honor to be a part of this.
I received that.
Yeah. All right, love, real quick pause because I have to tell you about something that is truly life-changing. If you've been in my world for any amount of time, then there is a 99.9% chance that you have heard me talk about Energy Expansion Academy, which is my signature group coaching program where I teach the exact tools, rituals, mindset shifts that helped me create a life that goes beyond my wildest dreams and has transformed the lives of hundreds of women that I've had the honor of serving. And for the first time ever, it is now available as a self-paced experience. That means you get to move through this powerful transformation on your own terms, in your own timing, and in full alignment with your life. This is for the woman who's ready to shift her energy, elevate her mindset, and finally become the most confident, fulfilled, and successful version of herself. Without the hustle, without the overwhelm, and without the second guessing. If you've been feeling the nudge to join us inside of EEA, then this, my love, is your sign. You'll find the link in the show notes or just DM me EEA on Instagram and I'll personally send it your way. Now, let's get back to the episode that you came for.
I received that. Thank you. Thank you. So I am going to unpin myself and you have center stage and you get to dazzle everybody. Your stories and your experience.
All right. So we're here at this event called Belonging. And if I'm ever going to speak anywhere to any group of people, I like to really immerse myself in like, what is it that we're up to? And so I had the opportunity to watch some of the replays and hear some of Paula's stories and some of the speakers. And in so many ways, I can absolutely relate. And I started sitting with the question of, when did I decide that I didn't belong? And if I'm being completely honest, it started
before I ever could have had a conscious awareness of it. And there's a story that I want to share with you that I don't think I've ever shared publicly. And it wouldn't actually fit in most places or spaces, but I know that it fits here. And so it has to do with when I hired my very first healer. Someone very similar to Paula. I had hired like life coaches and business coaches and had taken kind of surface level certifications, but something about the way that I was doing life and business just didn't work. And I knew I needed to go a lot deeper. And so I didn't know Paula at the time. Otherwise, I might have hired Paula actually. So I hired an energy healer I had met, and I thought to myself, what are we doing? I don't know, but like everything else I've been doing hasn't been working. And so we get ready to meet. And this was many years ago, like before Zoom existed. So she was going to call me on my phone. Do you guys remember when we used to have phone calls? Yeah, we would do this healing wise. And so it was very interesting because it was like 60 seconds before our session start time. I was looking at my phone, waiting for it to ring. And all of a sudden, my body started vibrating and I felt like I was going to cry. And I was like, what's going on? And I answer the phone and I tell her what's going on. And she goes, oh, your body knows, like your energy body knows the work that we're getting ready to do. Like it's already starting the processing and the clearing. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And she goes, we have to start at the womb. And I was like, excuse me, we're doing what? Where are we starting? Why would we possibly start there? And the thing is, she didn't start there with everybody, but she said, this is where our work together, me and you, Dani, needs to begin. And what I learned there was that I actually, in the womb, I really had the cards stacked against me. And I'm sharing this because you might be able to relate to this. I had imprinting in the womb that I was not wanted. I was not wanted. So I was conceived by my mom and my dad, who went out on a couple of dates, took it a little past dinner, obviously, and then decided to break up and go on their own merry way. And a few months go by, and my mom found out she was pregnant, and she did the math and realized she had to call, because she was dating someone new, she had to call the last boyfriend and explain what happened. And his response was, call my attorney. And he hung up. And so here is my mom, not in a committed relationship, breaks up with an amazing guy because she just doesn't feel right about bringing a baby into the world who's someone else's. And that imprinting was, I'm not wanted. I don't belong here. And so what I have learned is that I literally came into this life experience, and this manifested in a lot of really big ways around, if I'm going to belong, I have to be a really good girl. I have to follow all of the rules. I have to be small. I have to stay quiet, and I must not have any needs. You cannot need anything. You cannot be difficult. In fact, you must go above and beyond to make sure that everyone else is okay. And so this is literally something. I see you in the comments. Thank you for letting me know that I'm not alone. And I know that I'm not. And I've never shared this before. And there's people inside of our DKC Soul Fam, Dani Kenney Coaching, who are like, wait, what? I've known you for 10 years and I've never heard this. Yeah. And so what that looked like is similar to some other stories I've heard this week. I used to take so much pride. I thought being the chameleon was my superpower. And now being the chameleon actually makes me really sad because it's something that I wish I never had to learn how to be. When my clients come to me and they share that they can shapeshift and they can be anyone for anything, my biggest concern is my love. Then you probably don't know who you are. And it reminds me of a quote I once heard. It says, if everybody likes you, which used to be the thing I strived for, I just want people to like me and love me and I want to fit in. If everybody likes you, there's a high likelihood that you don't like you. Oh, I remember reading those words and my soul was crushed because it felt true. Because how could you like someone, in this case, myself, if you don't actually know who you are. And this really came to a head when I became a mom. Like Paula read in my bio, I'm a mom of 3. And whether you're a mom or not, you can imagine that there is a level of exhaustion that comes with motherhood. And I remember being a mom and being in the depths of it. And there was something really big that I had carried with me for a long time that I had to set down, and that was being the people pleaser. Because I literally did not have the effort to care about everything and everyone else. Literally, the only thing I could care about was me and my baby, not even my husband. And I remember him saying, "You seem different and something is changing. I don't know if I like it." And I said, "You know what? I am different. I am changing. And that's okay if you don't like it, because I don't have the energy or the effort to be anything other than all of me." And that was the first time in my life when I actually felt like I belonged. Because this reminds me of Brene Brown. The reason that was the moment when everything changed, when I felt like I belonged for the first time, it was because I belonged to me for the first time. And Brene Brown talks about how that is the truest form of belonging. When you belong to you first and foremost, you automatically belong everywhere you go. In every group you can find yourself, in every door you walk through, in every room you sit in. And that's what changed everything for me. And I'm one of those people where I'm like, I don't have any regrets. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I was 27 years old at the time. So I had spent nearly 3 decades being the best people pleaser, because I'm an overachiever. So if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it really well, even the trauma response. And so I'd spent most of my life living in a way where I didn't belong anywhere because I didn't actually belong to me. And that was really the thing that changed everything. And there was something else really big that happened there right around that same time, was when I decided to be an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship was when I found my voice. And it's really interesting. I'm having this like aha moment with all of you right now, where I'm noticing that the journey of really finding my own voice started with belonging. I really think that those two things go hand in hand, that you cannot powerfully use your voice. You cannot have a deeply rooted belief that your voice matters and reclaiming your expression without having that foundation of belonging. Is anyone else seeing that and feeling that too? I knew these pieces I wanted to share with you, but that piece, I'm like, oh, like those things happened at the exact same time. And what I have learned as an entrepreneur, and I really truly believe that this matters whether you're an entrepreneur or not, but if you happen to find yourself in the seat of entrepreneurship, which I really truly believe is one of the greatest spiritual journeys you could ever go on, it doesn't matter what kind of business or service or product you have, your voice and your story are the number one ways that you will make an impact. And again, business aside, if you don't have a business, if you are in a 9-to-5 job, or you work for a corporate company, or you work remotely, or you're retired, I will say it again in a different way. Your voice and your story are the number one way that you can make an impact. I really truly believe, and you don't have to believe this. Maybe when I say it, you're like, yep, I'm on that train. Maybe when I say it, you're like, I never thought about that, but I'm going to get on that train. You're welcome to hop on, and you don't have to if you don't want to. But I really truly believe that every single one of us were placed on this planet to make a difference, to do something that would have us leave this world better than we found it. I don't think that there is a more powerful, effective way to do that than to use your voice, your story, your experiences, what you've been through. There's no other way I know more powerful or effective than to share those things. That is the number one way that I have found to make a difference, not only for me, but how many of you have been transformed or activated or inspired or called to action because you heard someone else's story. Yeah. Oh my, yeah. I saw that hand go up. Oh, yeah, lots of hands go up. I see you. Yeah. And so I'm so incredibly honored. I honestly had no idea that 8 out of 10 speakers wanted today because this is a hot topic. This is an important topic. And I feel so incredibly honored to get to share this day with you and the energy of all of this. Yeah. Paula Babe, you know me really well, and we've bobbed and weaved and danced, and you've been through, I actually have a course called Magnetic Speaker. Like, I take this voice thing quite seriously. And so I'm curious if there's anything in particular that you're like, hey, Dani, can you touch on that? Or if there's anything else you want to dive into before we go into the guided experience that I have planned for the women.
Okay, so, and this just popped into my head, so I'm going to go with it. So, we're waking up our voice, right? We are coming into the truest part of who we are because of that. For somebody who is still maybe a little too afraid to really let that part of her become the richest part of her, as a coach who helps people with this, what would be your biggest piece of advice? Like, what would be some building blocks in the KISS method of keep it simple, sister, or your sass? Like a few building blocks that would really help that woman come into this place where she's like, you know what? Yeah, my voice is important. It's sacred. It's medicine, and I get to share it with the world.
Yeah. Oh, I love this question. And if any of you are familiar with human design, I'm a manifesting generator. And so the way I move through the world is I like to respond. And so when Paula asks me a question or when anyone asks me a question, I'm like, yes, let's have that conversation. And that's how I'm feeling right now. So there's something interesting here, and I want to be mindful. Like, some of you I actually know really well and intimately. Some of you are here, and some of you we're new to one another. And so I don't know what it is that you're up to in the world right now. I don't know how you're called to use your voice. But for context, what we're talking about today applies to you regardless of what you do for a living, if you do anything for a living, how old you are, what you feel like your mission is, where you're at, what season of your life. This doesn't just apply for people who are speaking at things like this. This doesn't matter if you have an online presence or not, if you're on stages. This applies to the conversations that you desire to have with the people that you love in your own home or with your friends. And so I'm actually thinking about initially when this started, when it came to using my voice, really reclaiming that, it started at home. It started with me feeling, and this is what I want to share with you. How do you begin? What are the building blocks? The building block number one is, and this might honestly be the only one, say the thing. Say the thing. What do I mean by that? Every single one of us has a moment. You can probably think of a moment, and this is part of what I'm going to guide you through in just a little bit. Can think of a moment, and I promise you will have one of these moments. Many of us, probably within the next 24 hours, if not this week, where something happens and something within you says, you need to communicate this. You need to say this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a bad thing, right? How many of you see another woman and you're like, I need to comment on her outfit, but I don't want her to think that I'm weird. Right? People will be passing me on the street. I'm like, hey, I like your dress. I like your earrings. And I genuinely mean it. And I don't know a lot of people who are just shouting at strangers on the street like niceties, right? So you might be walking through the grocery store or through the airport. I start conversations with strangers. I love it. I love humans. I love getting to know people. I love connecting. And so you might be moving through the world and something in you is like, ooh, I I think this really nice thing about this person, say it. Just say it. Say the thing. Or for me, this came up again. I first started understanding the power of my voice when I was exhausted and I was in the depths of having one and now three little children. And so I remember I would try to do everything to like appease my husband, to not rock the boat, like to just stuff it down. I don't do that anymore. I speak up. If I like something, I say that I like it. If I don't like something, I say that I don't like it. If he comes home from work and he's in a bad mood and he shares his bad mood with me, I say, I love you and I'm not available to receive that. Maybe we can try that again in a different way, in a different tone. Did you guys know that you could actually request for someone to say something to you in a different way if you don't like how it's being given to you? You can say, I get where you're at, and I'm also not available to receive that. Like, what? And so the building block here is to practice saying the thing. The thing is whatever that message that's bubbling up within you to whomever, say it instead of stuffing it down. And now here's what's going to happen, because Paula's question was like, this is someone who's has never done this before, is like in the early stages. I want to be really transparent with you. This is not a permission slip to beat yourself up, because I can almost promise, if you're anything like me, and you probably are, when I first started this journey, I would say 2 out of the 10 things that bubbled up, I would still keep 8 of them stuffed down. I did not yet have the courage to say everything that came up in real time. And this is also not a permission slip to be a complete and total B and to verbally assassinate the people in your life. No, that's not. Do not come at me. Do not try to speak to someone you love in a hurtful way and be like, Dani, I did it and now we're not friends anymore, right? Or it started a fight. No, thank you. Stephanie said in the comments here, she said, I love how you said that. So I speak everything from a place of love and authenticity. I'm mindful of my tone, because it's not always what you say. It's actually more often about how you say it. If you want a message to be received, you need to be intentional about how you're transmitting it, right? And so even if there is something that I don't like, or something that made me mad, or something that rubbed me the wrong way, I don't just, I'm mindful. I sit with it maybe for a few minutes and I think through what's actually going on here and how can I communicate this with love. And so if you are someone who is just on this journey of reclaiming your voice, you're probably not going to go step on a stage today and speak eloquently in front of 100 people. It's going to start in these little moments in your life, these micro moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm noticing that like something wants to come up and out. Maybe I'll say it. Maybe I'll let it go out into the world and see how it lands and see what a difference it makes. And you would be really surprised. People love it. People love it. Even when my husband was like, I don't know if I like this. That's cool, bro. You don't got to like it, but I like it. And so my energy of owning my voice and my preferences will be married for 15 years on July 1st. And so this was probably something that we started, gosh, 7 or 8 years ago. Our marriage is better and stronger for lots of reasons, but also because of me finding my voice. And it's definitely created moments of tension and friction and like, oh, I don't know how that landed. Are we cool? And then we keep talking about it. And each kind of thing we get over, it's like a new version of our relationship. It's deeper, it's richer, it's more fun. We feel more connected because I had the courage to say the thing, right? And so this does not just apply to partnership and marriage. This applies to friendships. This applies to mother-daughter relationships or children, siblings. If you're a leader, your clients, people in your community are going to be really appreciative if you're honest. If you say the thing, they're probably actually paying you because they want you to be honest. They want you to say the thing directly and with love. So it's single building block is say the thing. And the benefit of that when you're scared is remember that you saying the thing could be the greatest gift for you and the person you're saying it to.
Oh my gosh, that is probably the best explanation ever. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And it's so funny because you weren't on the morning session, but the card that I pulled for myself that ended up being great for everybody was out of my Work Your Light, and it was trust the niggle. And say the thing, trust the niggle, right?
That's the niggle. Ooh, what is this? I'm curious about this. Let's run with this. Yeah.
What do I always say, Anne? You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
You just can't make it up. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much. And oh my gosh, like the chat is blowing up so big from all of the stuff. So I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to allow you to present your magic.
Yeah. Beautiful. I created something that I'm very excited to share with all of you. It's weaving in a few of the things that I'm trained and certified in. We're going to be working a little bit with something known as neuro-linguistic programming, NLP for short. Neuro-linguistic programming means to work with the language of the mind. And we're also going to be weaving in a teeny tiny bit of time techniques. So time, TIME, is an acronym and it's time integration for maximum empowerment. But before I guide you into that, there's two things. So these are proponents of my magnetic speaker framework and course, and they're things that I know Paula loves. And I could not speak on the day all about voice without sharing these two things. I call them magnetic speaker truths. And again, these apply whether you're on stage, maybe you're going live for the first time, or if you're like me for the millionth time on the internet, or maybe you're having a conversation in the walls of your own home. These two things, the first one is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. How many of you have stressed out about wanting to get it right, wanting to make sure that you have the words, all of the different things? There have been so many times where I'm stumbling over my words, where I look back and I'm like, I didn't make sense, but somehow they got it. They received the message. It was because my energy was aligned. My stumbling over, stuttering, getting the things backwards was rooted in love and authenticity. And the person receiving them was available for that. So you can't mess this up. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You also can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You could be dialed in, have your words and your energy aligned, and you're going to say it. And there's going to be people in front of you who are not capable of receiving it. And that, my love, is not about you. It's not. Don't make it about you. And the second thing is you set the tone for how people receive you. So if you go into a conversation, a one-on-one conversation, a group conversation like this, maybe you're the leader, maybe you're a participant like many of you are, maybe it's on stage, wherever you might be. If you go in looking for permission, is it okay for me to be here? I'm going to introduce myself and put a question mark at the end. People are going to feel that and they're going to receive that lack of self-trust. They're going to see you in that wobble. You get to choose, how do you want people to receive you? If I'm speaking somewhere, I really like to sit with, how do I want people to feel in my presence? And then guess whose job that is to create it? It's not your job to create that for me. It's my job to create that for you and to create that for me, right? So you set the tone for how people receive you, okay? Beautiful. Let's go into this guided experience, which I'm excited to lead you through. And so I want to invite you to find yourself in whatever space you're in, if you're able to do so. I'd love to have you join me in closing your eyes or maybe finding a gentle gaze, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And as you're turning your attention inward, The invitation is for you to simply find a point of safety here in this moment. Maybe noticing the seat or the ground beneath you, noticing how held and supported you are right now by the space that you're in physically, by the space that we're in together, and allowing yourself to fully arrive. As you take your next few breaths, I want you to imagine that there is a beautiful, soft, glowing light coming from the center of your chest. And as you take your next few breaths, I want you to feel as this light grows and expands with every breath you take. This light represents the truest version of you. This light is also the seat of your most authentic, unapologetic expression, the power of your voice, of your story, of the difference you're here to make. And as you take your next few breaths, feeling as this continues to grow and expand, becoming even more real, even more solid. This moment in time as we're here together today is a milestone. This reminder of this light, of this voice that has always been there, will always be there, even in the moments when you felt like you had to be quiet, even in the moments when you questioned it. It has never left you and it will never leave you. Allow yourself to take in this experience of being supported by your own voice and all of the ways that it's been there for you. And as you take in your next few breaths, I want to invite you to remember a moment in time where you didn't say the thing, a moment where you knew you wanted to use your voice, maybe where you needed to use your voice, but you didn't. Maybe it was in a one-on-one conversation with a loved one, or maybe it was with a stranger, maybe it was in a group, maybe it was in a moment of leadership where you were the leader and you held back. Maybe you filtered yourself, you felt yourself shrinking as you made yourself smaller. And as you notice this moment, this is not a permission slip to judge yourself. There's no judgment, there's no criticism. We're only observing. We're bringing in a loving awareness, softening into unconditional welcoming as you allow yourself to be here, remembering this moment. And if you can, I want you to recall what that version of you believed in that moment when you didn't say the thing. And again, we're witnessing these beliefs with nothing but love. Maybe you hear yourself say, it wasn't safe for me to use my voice. Maybe you felt like they won't understand. What if they won't like it? What if they don't like me? What if they leave? What if I lose them? And just breathing in a sense of love and compassion for that version of you. The truth is, my love, she was doing the best she could to protect you. She was doing the best that she knew how to do. And for that, we're so grateful for her. But here's the moment where everything gets to change. I like to call this your holy shift moment, your line in the sand moment, forever changing the past. And as we rewrite the past, we are also creating an entirely new future, an entirely new way of being as you move forward. And so what I want you to do now is, again, noticing yourself in that exact moment, the same room, the same person or people, that same beautiful version of you. But something is different this time as you witness her, as you witness this moment. You're no longer operating from a place of fear. You're operating from a place of truth, authentic expression, and faith. You're breathing in and expanding safety, self-trust, and a knowing that your voice is a gift, always. And as you remember this, as you activate these truths, this time you speak. You witness yourself as you say the thing that you wanted to say all along. Maybe your voice shakes a little. Maybe it's soft, or maybe it's strong and firm. Whatever feels right and true for you. Allowing yourself to align with a completely new reality, a new version of you in time and space, the moment where you choose to say the thing. And as you take in your next few breaths, if you don't already have one or both hands over your heart, I want to invite you to bring your hands up to your heart center now, taking in a few deep breaths. And as you do, locking in this moment, locking in the safety, locking in the self-trust, locking in the codes of courage that allow you to choose to say the thing. And as you do, I want to invite you to either repeat out loud or silently in your mind, my voice matters. My voice matters. My voice belongs here. Letting that activation, the vibration of that declaration to land inside of your body now. And with the next few breaths you take, I want you to feel how you're not alone, how there's a community of women right alongside you, holding you in this, claiming this for you and themselves, feeling you, seeing you, allowing this version of you to be fully activated now. Taking in a few more deep breaths, allowing yourself to enjoy any of the feelings, the sensations, whatever might be coming up for you now. Noticing how being the woman who's not afraid to say the thing is now your new reality, your natural way of being. I see you in that. Taking a few more deep breaths as you allow your energy and your attention to come back into this space, come back into this room, bringing your awareness to your body. And then whenever you're ready in your own time, you are welcome to blink your eyes open, maybe noticing the beautiful smiling faces here in the room. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for being so open and receptive to that. And thank you for having me, Paula.
Dani. Oh, wow. Wow. I felt that, and I felt this beautiful collective energy. And it was like this beautiful, soft feeling of rain coming down on everybody and just like cleansing us. And it was so big. And I went back to a time that I had forgotten about. So I was really shocked. I was like, I don't know how to go there. I haven't thought about that in forever, but apparently when it comes up, you got to do it. So yeah, so Dani, if you want to find Dani, allow me to put Dani's information in here so you can find her. It will also be in the replay email that goes out. I highly suggest you either tap on that faith frequency right now or do it when the email comes out. I can tell you, as somebody who listens to these audios, they never get old. And this woman just knows how to lead these kind of meditations. It's such a beautiful thing, whatever she's doing. I know Stephanie agrees. All of us EEA babes agree on this 100%. But it's so nice. And I actually keep it in my notes. So if I'm like somewhere and I just need it, it's like I have Dani in my pocket with me always. I can always find her somewhere. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your magic and your medicine. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you. It means so much to me.
All right, Energy Expansion Pod Squad, we did it. I really, truly hope that you loved receiving that message as much as I loved creating and delivering it, sharing it with you. And if you found yourself nodding along, maybe tearing up, I might have pulled on some heartstrings there. I know we went really deep in a lot of different ways. I want to remind you, we said it a few times, but I want to say it again. Your voice matters. Your story matters. It always has. It always will. If you feel like you're in a season where you are not actively, intentionally using your voice and your story, know that the world wants it and needs it. And there are so many people who would be forever grateful, whose lives would be forever changed when you have the courage to share your voice, when you have the courage to say the thing in only the way that you can. You with me on that? Before we wrap up, I want to give a massive shout out to Paula. Paula, thank you so much for asking me to be a part of Belonging, for creating such a safe, sacred, powerful space. You are pure magic. It was an honor to get to lead alongside you. And what an epic lineup of powerhouse speakers. Podcast fam, I'll see if I can get you the link. I'm not sure what's still available from this event, but it was so dang good. And as always, if today's episode stirred something up within you, if there is a thought, a takeaway, an aha, an insight that you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear it. So the invitation is to send me a DM on Instagram, or if we're connected on Facebook, wherever we're connected, you're welcome to do that. It always makes a huge difference when you rate and you leave us a review wherever you might be listening. I think I forget to say that often, so I'm glad I remembered today. If there is a woman in your world who you know this episode would make a difference for, please share it with her. And in real time, we're only at the halfway point of April. And I want to remind you that for this month only, we are offering 50% off of our breakthrough days and breakthrough experiences. This is absolutely insane. Within these breakthrough experiences, whether you choose a day or the full weekend, you're basically receiving and experiencing 6 months of deep dive coaching accelerated in the span of 8 hours. It is absolutely life-changing. How do I know? Because I have been on the receiving end of this experience, and I have also had the absolute honor and privilege of hosting an experience like this, leading, guiding, facilitating the most incredible women, 6 women in the last few months, and getting to witness these transformations in real time is unlike anything I've ever seen in my over 12 years of coaching full time. And so if this is something that you're interested in, I want to invite you again to pop over to social media and send me a message with the word breakthrough, and I'll know what that means. I'll know that that means you want me to send you over the really simple Google Doc with all of the details and start up a conversation of what it would look like for you to be able to say yes to yourself, your future, your purpose, your mission. In this case, maybe today's episode all around activating the power of your voice and your story. Maybe that stirred something up within you. That would be something that we could absolutely work on together during a breakthrough experience. So send me that message. I love you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.